but the Bears win. If you want to talk Bears for a second, that's fine, J-Mart, but I do think we do have to circle back to the Matt LaFleur conversation because with the Green Bay Packers losing, they lose a bunch of games straight to end the year. Let me make sure that I have this stat correctly. They lost 4 straight even heading into the playoffs. They lose on Saturday night. They have now won 1 playoff game over the last 4 seasons. They lost, oh, by the way, as the number 1 overall seed a couple years back. Last year, they lose to the Eagles. This year, they blow a 21-3 halftime lead. And it seems like a conversation worth having about the future of Matt LaFleur in Green Bay.
I think it's over, man. I'm gonna change. I said better than 50-50. I think he's done. I think that's it. It's not that he's done a bad job. It's just that it's like the ceiling keeps getting hit year after year. You had it with Aaron Rodgers. You couldn't finish that. You've got it with Jordan Love. You can't finish this. Now, look, they lost Tucker Kraft, who was a huge part of their offense early in the season. You lose Micah Parsons after you get him, and that obviously is going to harm your defense. All those things are true. But every team is going through something. Every team is dealing with something similar. So you usually don't get that benefit of the doubt unless it's your quarterback that's down. And in this case, Love in this game was about as healthy as we've seen. You had a healthy Josh Jacobs in this game for the first time in weeks, and you don't get the job done. And I just feel like Packers fans have watched now under LaFleur. The Lions surpass them, and then the Bears surpass them.
By the way, the Vikings were 1 game away from the number 1 seed
yes.
last year, too. Don't forget that.
Yes, that's true. So during his tenure, all 3 other teams in the division have, at some point or another, supplanted this team. And I don't think that can continue. Like, eventually you have to do something different. And I just feel like the fans are probably at the end of their rope after this one, because this is one where you find a way to lose this one. It's like, okay, all right, now we're going to need to do something else now, because this right here can't continue.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think I realized 7th year as a head coach.
Yes.
So obviously the first 2 years, you make it to back-to-back NFC championship games, okay. But then as I referenced, you lose as the number 1 seed, overall seed in the NFC to the San Francisco 49ers in 2021. I think that was our first year doing shows together, J-Mart. 2022, That was obviously Aaron Rodgers last year in Green Bay. You missed the playoffs. You get the following year, you get in as a wild card. You do beat Dallas in Dallas, and then you get smoked by San Francisco. You lose to the Eagles last year to open the playoffs. You lose to the Bears. And I think here's the other thing, too. A couple things. One, as you said, you just get to a point where it does feel like they've hit a ceiling. I would also say this, is that Jordan Love played about as well as you could ask from him. And not only is it not enough, but it sounds like a weird counterintuitive thing of Jordan Love played well, but the offense stagnated in the second half. And I think that's where the frustration comes in, right? If you just lose this game 31-27, and it's this back and forth thing, down to the wire, you lose on the road, those things happen. But when you have a 21-3 lead, you're in complete control. And then to the point that our caller Matt in the last hour said is that you go 3 straight 3-and-outs to open the second half. Chicago's moving the ball at will. I know you can't really blame the kicker for the situation, but at the same time,
you kind of can.
That's what I was going to say. Those are little things in coaching that become big things when things are going sideways,
Well, look, in this case, he missed 2 field goals and an extra point. Okay? He missed 2 field goals in the fourth quarter and an extra point, I believe. That would be the only saving grace. If you're Green Bay and you want to talk yourself into running all this back and not making some kind of a big change, it would be, well, look, LaFleur can't make the kicks. It has to be something like that. I just don't think that's going to be enough. I think Green Bay fans, which are unique because of the ownership situation and all of that, I feel like they're going to want answers, and the only real answer is we need a new voice. I think LaFleur gets another job and probably does a nice job, but I think his time in Green Bay, this one just feels, again, if Harbaugh can lose his job, I feel like that sets the precedent that you can move on from Matt LaFleur.
Well, and I think the other thing, too, and you mentioned it a minute ago with the rest of the division, I know what people will say, the Bears 7 wins trailing in the final 2 minutes. There will probably be some regression next year. Maybe, but I think Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are going to be around for a while. Detroit, listen, we could talk Mike McDaniel at some point before the end of the show. It looks like he's going to be the OC. I think we probably get a better overall performance from Detroit next year. And Minnesota, like, for all of the up and down stuff, they finished 9-8. They won 5 straight to end the year. Now, we know the quarterback situation's a little bit weird, but I just bring it up because, like, this is one of those things that could have a carryover effect. This is not the AFC South. Like, this is a division where, you start slow, whatever. All of a sudden, you completely fall off the map. So I think that's the other variable, too, is the division is tough, and if you just run it back and expect things to be different, I think it's a tough ask. So
yeah, again, I think you have the excuse right now to say we need a new voice in this room, and that to me is going to be enough for them to make this change. I said by Monday, maybe that's too soon. I don't know. I just don't feel like they're going to let this dangle for very long, especially if they think they might have a chance at Harbaugh and they see him as an answer.
I'll tell you what, we'll get to more John Harbaugh in a second. More coaching carousel. Ian, we got a bunch of calls.
Yeah, let's run through some calls.
Let's run through some calls here. So let's get to, let me ask you this, Ian. Is Jerome in Charleston still on?
He is. He's been waiting patiently.
I know. That's why I want to get Jerome in Charleston. You're on Fox Sports Radio with Aaron Torres, Jason Martin. What do you got on a thrilling Bears win or, depending on how you look at it, a crushing Packers loss?
Look, he only got that job because he's a pretty boy and he knows how to talk the talk. But you know what? When the rubber meets the road, when it's time to bring the trophy home, he's less than desirable. Okay, he'll definitely get fired. There ain't no way that whoever's running the Packers front office is going to try to sell bringing him back. There ain't no way they're going to sell it to the people of Green Bay because they're not that dumb. All right. There's no way he keeps his job. I'm surprised he lasted this long. I've been waiting to see what this guy's. He's been us since 2019.
Yep.
Man, he's gotten a long leash, boy. But hey, his time's up. He's a pretty boy. He's just like that guy in Oregon, that Dan Lanning guy.
Oh boy.
5 to whatever. Oh, pretty. Hey man, pretty will get you a job, but then you got to prove yourself. And when you don't prove it, even when you're pretty, you're gone. That's what's going to happen. They're definitely going to fire him. And Jordan Love, overrated, making way too much money to play like this. 21-6?
21-6 at the half. Jerome, thank you for the impassioned call. Matt LaFleur, too pretty to be an NFL head coach. No, I think there's a lot of points. And by the way, I keep saying one playoff win in the last 4 years. It's really one playoff win in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's worth noting as well. And I do think, to Jerome's point, I mean, listen, you're gifted Aaron Rodgers. Now, to his credit, let's give him a little bit of credit because, Aaron Rodgers looked like he was on a decline, wins back-to-back MVPs under Matt LaFleur's watch. But that thing ends. You get Jordan Love. You had 4 years to develop him. I have been talked into Matt LaFleur probably should not be back because.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You and Jerome. You just sold me on the facts. Jerome said he was too pretty, and I agree with both of you. So no, I don't know if I agree with Jerome, but I do think there's something to the definition of insanity is doing something over and over and expecting different results. And listen, you keep mentioning John Harbaugh. This has been the conversation with Mike Tomlin. Obviously, we think Mike Tomlin's going to survive whatever, but it's like how many times in a row do you do the same exact thing over and over and get, wiggle room to keep coming back? And so you're talking about one playoff win in 5 years for the Green Bay Packers, and, every situation, every circumstance is a little bit different, right? Is that, I'm sure there's plenty of organizations that would love to go to the playoffs 4 to 5 years, but when you keep getting there and not having success, right. And then the manner in which they lost today, as Jerome just said, the Packers trailed 21-3, or they were ahead 21-3 at the half. 3 straight 3-and-outs to start the second half. And here's the other crazy part, too. It's not like the Bears played lights out and were perfect.
No.
2 of 6 on fourth down. There was a Caleb Williams interception in the red zone. You were gifted the ball deep in your own territory by Ben Johnson. It's not like the Bears just played the game of their careers. We're waiting on post-game sound, Lee's in the back cutting it up, but I'm sure there's probably a piece of sound of Ben Johnson saying, we didn't play anywhere close to our best game. The Bears still get the win.
Now, look, man, it felt to me like the Bears were one touchdown away in the third quarter from packing it in. It felt like it was just completely in control for Green Bay. All they had to do was close the casket, and they could not do it. And a lot of that has to be on the coaching and the play calling. And in that case, again, I think LaFleur, I think the buck is going to have to stop with him this time.
Green Bay Packers fall 31-27. I'm getting my numbers mixed up here. Tell you what, Ian, let's get to one more call. Do we still have Kyle in Vegas on with us?
Yes, sir.
Kyle in Vegas, you're on Fox Sports Radio. Aaron Torres, Jason Martin. The Chicago Bears rally to beat the Green Bay Packers 31-27. Kyle, take it away.
If I may. Bears down!
There you
Bears
go.
down, baby. And listen, honestly, guys, there was 5 pivotal plays in that game that changed the outcome. We'll say the missed field goal was one. The timeout by LaFleur on that same series really changed the driving method. You had the false start, which gave you back, or the delayed game that pushed you back into that position. The interception by Caleb. It was a night where literally both the football guys on each side was like, hey, we're going to give this to you. Oh, you didn't do nothing with it. Oh, we're going to give this to you, but you didn't do nothing with it. The Bears didn't play a sound defensive game. They went after Kyler Gordon all night. They could not make that work. The Bears found a way. They couldn't stop Loveland on the other side. So at the end of the game, I woke up at the half like, here we go again, 21-3. And by the end of the game, first off, great broadcast, Amazon, great game. Finished off very well. LaFleur is going to be out of there. I don't care. Cheese grater. Let's go. Bears. Another season. You guys have a good night.
That was Kyle in Vegas.
Feeling it.
What's that?
He's feeling it.
He's feeling it. I'll tell you what, we got one more caller on the line. Trey in Texas. You're on Fox Sports Radio. Trey, you're in Texas. Bears fan, Packers fan, or impartial and just enjoyed the game?
I'm a Packers fan.
Oh, boy.
But
You sound different than Kyle, the Bears fan, I'll be honest.
no, I'm a Packers fan. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But no, I'm really disappointed because, for so many years, Green Bay has been the standard in the NFC North. And for the game to be as it was is very disappointing. But, it's funny because I've been listening to the Odd Couple earlier in the week, and, they were talking about, coaches being fired like Sean McDermott or even John Harbaugh as far as who's going to get fired in the playoffs or after the playoffs. And, I was just crazy to think that, Matt LaFleur was even on that chopping block. But it's like, now that I've seen it and, going back to the history and seeing everything as far as how he's been playing in the playoffs with the team he's had, it's like, you know what? I do believe it is time to move on from him because, you know what? We're only going to get as far as what we have gotten with him. And I do believe he has underachieved, especially with the play calling. And it's interesting because it almost seems as if it's almost like a Mike McCarthy type of coaching. And it's like we played good in the first half, and it's like all of a sudden we can't play great in the second half. It's like, what's going on? And I just feel like, we need a new voice in Green Bay, honestly.
Well, that is Trey in Texas. And, thank you for the call, Trey. So, again, J-Mart, you've talked me into this. I think when you're talking about the Green Bay Packers, the success that they have had over the last basically 30 years going back to the Brett Favre era, when you're talking about one playoff win in the last 5 seasons with a roster that is now everybody's in their prime, right? Because it was the weird transition of you have Aaron Rodgers, but he's on the back end, but you have these young receivers, and how does it all fit? And Jordan Love's kind of sitting, waiting in the wings. These guys are in the heart of their prime, and to have one playoff win in the last 5 years, I don't think that's the standard for Packers fans.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. I mean, again, you hate to call for somebody's job, and you don't want to be a guy that has the rash take as soon as something like this happens. But I just think this is going to be the last straw. It's not like this is one thing. This has been building. It's like eventually you've got to win one of these. And to lose this one this way to another team in the division that is now, largely kind of surpassed you, eventually you're going to have to make some kind of a move there. And I feel like it's just the end of the road for him. Again, I think he will get another opportunity because I think he can coach. But at the same time, I think sometimes you just look at it and you say, maybe we've gone about as far with this guy as we can. And some guys can get you to the precipice, but they can't get you across the finish line, which could be something we're talking about a little bit later in regards to another head coach in the league. But when you look at Matt LaFleur, it's like he's done a lot of really good things there. But he hasn't exactly ever coached a team that didn't have a loaded roster or have something about it that made it special. Like, what is Matt LaFleur if he's been in Cleveland the entire time, for example? Like, I think that's what it is. It's like, is he good or has he been around good? And I think that eventually when you're around good and you continue to just not get it done, that eventually makes the question more like, well, he's not good enough even with this, so we got to move on.
Two quick thoughts to put a bow on this is that, one, I think there are two things that hurt his cause as well. One, 4 straight losses to close the regular season. I understand there were injuries. I understand, you played some pretty good competition. Still, no momentum going into the playoffs. And then 2, as I said a second ago, it's not as though the Bears, like in some ways, I think like 28 to 10 is better than 31 to 27. If the Bears were just lights out and everything went right and tipped pass, but again, I hate to keep reiterating the same stats, but 2 of 6 on 4th down. A Caleb Williams interception deep in their own territory, or an interception, in the red zone. A 4th down attempt by the Bears deep in the Packers territory, basically gifting them 7 points. No sympathy for Matt LaFleur if this is in fact it. We'll probably find out here soon because obviously the big candidates are available, and the Packers, if they want to go after those big candidates, will have to move quickly. The story of the day, by the way, John Harbaugh saying he only plans to interview with 3 to 4 teams and make a decision from there.